let me start by saying on camera again how much I loved what I've seen of your show.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thanks, man.
Like, and especially, and I don't mean to put myself in here, but just because of there's an abundance of television out there, there's an abundance of movies. We've all seen a million things. And I promise the people that are watching, you will see stuff you've never seen before on your show.
Probably for good reason. Probably for excellent reasons that no one has seen that shit before.
Right.
But we're showing it.
100%. So I'm very curious for the four of you first. What was it like reading these scripts or getting involved, reading that pilot script for the first time and seeing what they're trying to accomplish with the show?
It was really refreshing, I think, to read it. It was just kind of like you said, there's nothing else like that. As actors, you read so many, bad scripts. I think when you see something that's like amazing and original and like, holy shit, I want to be a part of this, that was the reaction right away. Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's all good. For me, there's like one line in the screen direction that sold me like super early on as I was reading through, and I'm not gonna say exactly who it is or what it is, but
why say? I'm so curious.
No, I mean, I'm gonna say, but I'm not gonna give you all the context. I don't want to give anything away for people who have not seen it. But there's a line in the screen direction that says like, we see this character peeing because you just never fucking see superheroes pee, and it's like page 12. It's like early on. Yeah, and I read that line and I was like, oh, I'm in. This is sick. I was like, I knew then that I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I want to be a part of. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's elements in that, like, for all of us. I think all of us felt the same about the material when we first got it, and I definitely, the chance to play a psychopathic Superman-esque sort of thing, I jumped at it, man. There was never a doubt in my mind I wanted to be a part of it.
It feels like the headline for this piece should be all of these actors have one way or another been touched by superhero pee.
It's true. I mean, the script was so good, not what I expected at all. That's what I loved about it. But one thing that also stood out to me, and I remember we discussed this, was that when he writes scripts, he'll like put in little gems that just the actors working on the scripts will read and will know about, like in parentheses, like just things to like throw out there just for the sake of like enhancing the content of the script. You know what I'm talking about? Like in parentheses, you'll be like, I can't even think of an example, but you know what I'm talking about. You'll be like, yes, this really freaking happened.
From the boys
and
would be an experience.
Yeah, it's an experience just to read it. And I was like, all right, this is going to be fun to make.
I feel like if you're going to write a script, like you should make it entertaining to read. So I'm always putting like little jokes and stuff in scripts.
Yeah. Also, something that's uncommon is getting a second season before the first season even premieres.
Boom.
Yeah.
Which is...
Go us.
Right.
Go Amazon.
First of all, I'm all in on that. Second of all, I just learned in the previous interview that you guys are already filming it.
We're deep into season 2, brother.
Right. That is, again, as a fan, amazing.
Yeah.
So it's going to be... So the first season's 8 episodes. Second season is 8
episodes, yeah.
So where are you in the production process, and when do you wrap? Because I'm already trying to do the math as to when I'm going to see it.
It'll drop about 1 full year after the first season. So about the same time next year it'll come. Second season will come
basically
out.
Next Comic-Con you'll be back doing a similar thing.
Correct.
Hopefully filming season 3.
Season 3.
Correct.
That'd be nice.
Fingers crossed, brother.
Right. Man, okay, so I want to jump into a few just fun questions because I know you can't ruin the show. For the four of you, who ruins the most takes and why?
Who what?
Who ruins the most takes and why?
Ruins between the four of us?
Yeah.
I ruined one the other night just by cracking up.
I was going to say, I can't keep a straight face. Anything that's remotely
Depends on
funny,
what time
I can't
of day
do
it is.
That's very true.
If I'm working with this guy, it's tough to keep a straight face. I mean, we didn't have tons, but...
What do you mean? What? Okay. What he's saying is, I suck, and so he's just like, Jesus, what is he doing?
It's not.
So I think by proxy, what he's saying is, I ruined the most takes.
That's not
By
true.
just being there.
Just being in shot.
Who would you say out of the entire cast who ruined the most takes?
Oh my God,
Ooh, what an interesting question. Who blows the most takes?
I like how all four of you are looking like, what is he going to say?
It's not these guys. I'm trying to, I got to look at each one of you. Yeah, let me look at the room, because those guys don't. I mean,
Probably Black Noir. He can never get his line.
yeah. Black Noir is a totally mute character. He blows his lines
Spill
the
matcha
most.
tea all over his uniform. Yeah, a green matcha tea.
Okay,
Like maybe did she? No, she was
Oh
always on.
no, she was always on her lines, but she would often, she would blow
Tell us how you
things
really
and then
feel.
we'd go again,
Well, I mean, everyone.
But she's crafty though. She's an old campaigner, right? So if she doesn't like something, she's not happy with it. She'll find a reason that something's not right, and she takes control of this.
I'll switch it then completely. Who of the four of you who always gets it in one?
You answer that again. I feel like. You need to answer that.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, here's what I think. What's hard about these questions anyway is like you want lots of takes. Like getting it in one is like the least interesting thing because
No, I accept that, but there's certain people that like I've spoken to a lot of actors, and some actors say that like they're warming up, third, fourth take, they're in it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? And other people
That's
say
true.
I need to get to like 10 takes and I'm feeling it. And some people it's like game on the first take.
right.
I know who gets it.
Who?
The people that get it every single time in the first take are the guest actors when we're in overtime.
We
Wow,
do,
you nailed it. Good one. Moving on.
we do like every setup we do like Kubrickian, like usually it's 45 or 50 takes per setup because you don't really get to the truth until you get to take 25.
On a TV show, you get to 45, 50 takes.
Yeah, no, every setup. We shoot each one is a 60-day schedule.
Right, of course. This makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
no, it's,
absolutely. I've heard this about a lot of TV shows.
No, and every episode is $170 million.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna ask actually something. So making the first season of any show, you're not only figuring it out, but you're learning the infrastructure as to what you can do with your budget, what you can do with your 8-day shoot. You're figuring out how to make the show. So I am curious, what did you learn making season 1 that now you're taking into season 2 that has helped with the actual making?
That's a good question.
So the first one wasn't good, but that one was good.
Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, exactly. Let me rephrase that. Finally, a good question. Right. No, it's like it's with the size of these budgets and we have a pretty healthy budget, but still I always say like you're starting a multi-million-dollar company from scratch. And you really just do it overnight. And so there's a lot of trial and error to sort of figuring out not just like what you can do better and what works better, what camera styles work better. I think we've gotten a lot better at as good as the Gore is in season 1. I think we've gotten a lot better about how to shoot the Gore properly in season 2.
Seeing if they nod.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes. Always agree with the
showrunner.
Yeah.
But also it's like you get to know because we wrote most of the first season before we had cast anybody. So and the best way to write for one of the reasons I love television is you can tailor the role to the actor and it becomes a very symbiotic thing. Like you take what you see the actor doing and you're like, oh, that's interesting, and start playing with that and pushing with that. And season 2, that to me, that's the most exciting part about being able to come back to do it because now because we know who these characters are, we can say and how they play on screen. Then we can say, okay, now we can twist them or challenge them in ways that you just couldn't in season 1.
For the four of you guys, I'm basically out of time, but I'm going to sneak this question in. From season 1. What's like a day, without spoilers, please, what's a day you will always remember? Actually, let's go down the line. What's a day you will always remember from filming the first season? With the microphone, though.
Always remember shooting the first, man, it's like all of them. Let's see. There was a day when I was shooting with the Huey character and his dad. Like, it's not a spoiler to say, Simon Pegg is his dad. I was shooting with those guys. And it's a very strenuous scene for A-Train, the one that I'm referring to. And I kind of just remember, like, going through hell in this scene. And then I look over at Simon Pegg, and he just has, like, the kindest face on. Because he's, like, off camera. So, like, I'm going through some shit. And I look over at Simon, he's just like... I was like, God damn it. And I always remember that. Like, I don't know why. I was like, just immediately had to get myself back in the moment. Like, I don't know. I just love things like that. You know what I mean? You'll be so into it, and then like something like a Simon Pegg facial expression can just take you all out of it and just help you remember, like, oh yeah, we're shooting a show right now.
That's great. I mean, I have so many from season 1. A few I probably can't, talk. There's one in particular I'm thinking of, but no. So Amazon came up with this thing, to do like a promotional thing within the world of the show. And it was basically the Deep, kind of doing one of those like celebrity, overseas commercials, like hawking soy sauce. So I had to go to my trailer, and they sent over like a guy who, helped me with the Japanese. And I mean, it was the most ridiculous, thing ever. It was really funny. I mean, it was like it's supposed to be this cheesy, soy sauce commercial that we shot in character, and that was probably. Sitting there being like, oh my God, you know what I mean? This is the show. Yeah.
I love when you,
which I loved. I had so
he
much
bows,
fun with it. I thought it was brilliant.
Like there's a giant octopus guy in an octopus suit. At the end, Chace bows to him and says to him in Japanese, like, "I thank you for your sacrifice." And it's just amazing.
That day I'll remember. Yeah, that was good.
That's a good one.
That's great.
Oh, you stole mine.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, because you were on.
Yeah,
set for
I did a
that.
commercial as well, and they were hilarious because those are the commercials those are the commercials I grew up with when I was a little girl. Like, I was like, when you do those Neutrogena commercials where you're splashing your face, like, you freaking made it. We had an ice cream truck on one day on set. That was pretty great.
He was like, yeah, the scenes
my
are fine, but we had an ice cream truck.
Listen, talk to me when you get an In-N-Out burger truck on
Dude.
set. Yeah.
Good show and all
Dude.
that, Erin.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the
The ice cream
ice
truck.
cream, those ice cream chimneys, dude. You remember them?
Yeah.
Yep, that was
Oh,
good.
that's
By the
right.
way,
I do remember.
Listen,
those.
food's the secret to keeping everyone happy.
It's totally true.
I
like
mean,
craft,
Feed 'em well,
by the way,
walk over call for you.
craft service is everything, and
Yeah,
people don't
100%
realize
right.
that.
And ours are awesome,
Yeah.
by the way. Craft service.
They are great.
For me, I didn't get to do a commercial. Unfortunately, I'm hoping we get to do one this year because they were so funny. But you know what it is? There was such an extent. Oh, I'm Monroeing. Good God.
I'm Monroeing.
I'm Monroeing. Stop it. Next thing, I'll be Sharon Stone. So there was such an extensive process making the super suits. I got signed on. We all got signed on 6 months prior to make these suits, and then this psychotic character that's got this other outward persona that is, the people's hero, like he refers to it as Jesus a lot. It's like meeting Jesus, but putting that all together and then putting it in this suit. I think the probably my favorite day actually was my first day, and it was in the Vought. The Vought Towers office, and it was a meeting of the full 7, all of the soups, and everything was coming together at once. And I was like, and Dan and Eric were there, and it was just, it's your first moment. Like, what are you gonna do? And I was like, well, I gotta be taking in my world. Like, and Dan came up at the same time, or was it you? I don't know. But one of you came up and said, what do you want to start? I think it was Dan came up and said, hey, so what are you thinking for the start of the scene? And I'm like, dude, I got to be standing up here. And it was just that moment of clarity, like being slightly raised up. And because Homelander's got to be this guy that fucking owns everything and everyone, often. And it was just that moment, like everything just came together, and then it all just made sense. And I look at these guys, and it was like, wow, it's happening.
I know the scene you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not spoiling anything.
Yeah,
about
no,
that, but it
that's
was
not a
just that-
spoiler at all.
Yeah, just that moment of like clarity. Everyone's worked so hard on the sets; they're amazing, and LJ, our suit designer, has like put so much love and care and detail. Everyone has, the whole team, into these suits, and then to feel it all just come together and create a universe and a world. It was just awesome.
Probably the moment at Video Village when he was standing there and we were like, shit, how do we get him to step down from there?
Tell him to light it.
No, obviously. That was awesome. And he was great instincts. I would say nothing during the shooting. It's the first rehearsals and read-throughs in prep were the moments I remember because you cast everyone, you try to get the best actor for the part, obviously, and these guys all were undeniable in how they own their role. But it's always in a vacuum, and a show really works not on any one character, but in the relationships between them, just the chemistry. And you never know if the chemistry is going to work, and sometimes it just doesn't. And so when these guys got together, when he got together with Shu, when all the 7 were together, when Carl and Jack were together, and you could see their energy as Butcher and Huey, and you just saw it, they become greater than the sum of their parts. Like they're just, it's all the energy bouncing off each other and creating a new thing. That was really exciting, because when you realize that you have that, you, as a showrunner who's done this a couple times, when you have that, you're like, oh, thank God, this is going to work.
Completely.
And so, yeah, that was that.
I could ask you a million other questions. She's going to kill me if I do. So I'm just going to, everyone at Amazon, I'm just going to say thank you for giving. I mean it seriously to everyone watching. I loved what I've seen of this show. I'm genuinely
Thank
so
you.
excited
Thanks
that you
a lot.
guys got a second season.
Thanks, brother, yeah.
And seriously, congratulations. I can't wait to finish it. I hope it's a massive hit.
Hey,
Thank
thanks
you
a lot.
so
Appreciate
much.
it.
For real. Thank you.